care for. So we need to understand them so that we can provide an appropriate, as it were, tailor-made services to suit and to meet their needs. So that's what we do. So some homes you could have care assistants, some home you could have nursing assistants, some home you could have registered nurses, some homes you could have palliative care nurses, and all of that, all a combination of all. So it is different. And so the whole idea for me is provide maximum support and assistance to the service users. And in doing that, you're providing the children, family members, the primary caregivers, probably the spouse, the children, and all of that peace of mind. And so we're kind of taking over the responsibility of families, caring for their loved ones the way they would have taken care of their parents if they were around, if they were available, and sometimes much more. Because I can tell you sometimes much more. So we create that comfort in their homes. You understand? Make them comfortable and support them every way we can. That's well care.
Okay. I would like to deviate from the brand right now. WellCare Group provides caregivers in the homes of the clients. Am I right? Okay. I hear stories and I see online about caregivers abusing their elderly clients or persons that they take care, like the housemaid you kindly mentioned at the beginning. How do you reduce the risks of, that would be a wrong way of putting that question. What do you feel about the rate of elderly abuse in the country right now? And how does your organization reduce the risks of caregivers abusing the elderly in terms of stealing and, causing them pain when they should have been the one to comfort them in their time of need? What do you feel about this?
Oh, very good question, Miriam. One of the things that we set out to do is it's difficult, I can assure you, in our environment. It's extremely difficult because of the way we're structured, or the way we are as a people. But one of the things that we've done is that over the years, we have very rigorous screening and interview sessions before taking on persons. I mean, there are things that we do to ensure that they are right for the job. Would I say we're always 100% correct all the time? Yeah, sometimes we also miss it, but to a very large extent, we try as much as possible, and then we'll closely monitor them. We'll do some checks, and then we'll closely monitor them. There are times that you're not comfortable with some people, applying for the job apart from you've done. So I remember there was a time we were shortlisting, and it's typically a process. And then by the time these people got to my table, I saw them. I didn't see anything physically or, one of the things I said to my team was, okay, so let's go around, let's go to the addresses, let's go to their homes. They've not started working with us. So I just sent my people. I said, go around their homes, ask about them. Ask about them in their neighborhood.
Wow.
And we did. They got to know about it. And they got scared. They never came back.
Wow.
They never came back. So different things that we've had to do over time. And of course, also closely, as much as possible, monitoring. So when we see or identify anything, it might not be anything overt, we realize that, this person just told a lie. If you told a lie, then that means we can't trust you.
Yes.
If you say, so in our relationships and all of that, so we're able to pick, and as soon as we're able to identify some of those things, we have a way of pulling them out. Saying, you know what, we can't trust you. Because like I say, caregiving is a position of trust. Having said that, where one of the challenges that I know we have right now is that the industry, my industry, that I nurtured and empowered, and I'm very proud that we are where we are now in the social care sector. But people are not willing to pay for the services. Okay, so I said I sent people go check them. That is cost.
Yes.
If I need to have caregivers trained properly, it's a cost. If we need to do proper checks, background checks, it's a cost. And ideally, all of those costs should be built into the cost of service. But when we have people who are not willing to pay for the service, you see, the major challenge that we've been dealing with is because as a nation, we're coming from the house help background syndrome. Is affected and affecting the industry. So, how much am I paying for if I bring somebody from the village? I know I will not pay what exactly are they doing? You have no idea. You know, so when people say, you're too pricey, what is it? How much are you paying the caregivers? What we pay the caregivers is not even the cost. That's so much. So, in people trying to cut costs and cut corners, they employ wrong people. And unfortunately, I've seen so much, I've heard so much of what caregivers do. Caregivers. How many of them are professional caregivers? How many of them can you track and trace? Have they been trained? Oh yeah, they'll tell you that they get trained. I see people these days who say they have trained. They've been trained and all of that. I see all sorts of certification. Those are the same thing. So there is an investment that the organizations would have to do. We can tell you we're not 100%, but I know how hard we try. It's a lot of work. How many organizations can really do that? Because if you're not careful, you're just looking at cost, because you're in business to make money. And so when you're in a business and you cannot make the money, it becomes a problem.
Yes, that's true.
So many people, even the society, is not even allowing the organization, proper organizations, to thrive. I think there should be a lot of encouragement. I understand that in our climb, most of the payment is out of pocket. So it's tough. Unlike in developed nations where at least some insurance, some government, subventions, if I use that word, and all of that. So, but if you do not get the right people, I remember there was a time, probably earlier this year or late last year, we had a prospect who wanted care for his dad. And one of the questions he's asking me is, Dr. Odunsi, he was very agitated. He was absolutely agitated because of security issues. And when people are like that, they've had history.
Yeah.
And so I understand perfectly. And so, so he was telling me, so I've heard about this, this has happened to my friend, this has happened to this has happened to this. Am I sure your caregivers will not do it? And all that. So I told him, I said, in 18 years of practice, I've not had any of those kind of cases. He said, no, that can't be possible. I said, but it is, sir. I'm not saying that we've not had issues, but we've not had those overt issues that you're talking about. And I gave him instances or some of the challenges that we've had, some of the things that we've been confronted with, and how eventually we were able to, something even just happened recently. Do you understand? But we do not, by virtue of the work we do at the back end. So people should not just think about caregiving and just the caregiver. No! The hard work that's done by people at the back end. They don't see it. But the things will run smoothly if you don't take care of the back end. And the back end is knowledgeable, is equipped, to do the job. So many of these things that happen is because you bought a Mercedes-Benz. And your Mercedes-Benz developed a fault. And rather than you taking your beautiful car back to the workshop, you decided to call a roadside mechanic. And then something went wrong. And you started saying, oh, but you cost it, So if you value your parents, you value them. That's the right perspective. How much of premium and value do you place on your parents or your loved ones? Would you allow just anybody take care of them? is my own. It's sad. The things we hear, the things we see. But shouldn't be. Shouldn't be.
Say
Hope
quality.
I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Quality is more than quantity, as they say.
Absolutely.
And you have answered my question excellently well. But moving on, you have addressed the topic about elderly abuse so well, and I'm sure your back end, your engine room, as you've said, are doing everything they can to provide the highest and most quality care for your clients, which is what everyone needs. You know, quality care is quite important, and the initiative that you've brought to this country is something that should help the elderly and their family to maintain a very comfortable lifestyle while still getting everything they need in the process. So we still need to do our job as the media to put you out there in the map and let people know you more. So you spoke about NCA, and you've already addressed NCA a lot about the JAPA and the rate of caregivers. How do we, I know this question might not be for you, but I would love your ideas in case anyone in the federal house is listening and they want to put something in place. How do we reduce the amount of people leaving the country every day to JAPA because they want to go do this same job that they could actually do in their father's land outside? What can we do to help those people?